Grand Junction?
Oh, 100% right
Oh, okay, so then let's just go.
I'm really good with flying. I am now. I wasn't in the past a few years ago. I've gotten much better, but I am having a lot of anxiety.
Put it out there. Really bad for like the last 2 days. Even last night, I like.
Kylie, why would you say that?
Say that? No, that's worse that you would put it out there.
I couldn't even sleep last night.
Kylie, the fact that you even put that out in the universe is one of the weirdest things.
That's a terrible thing to say.
What am I supposed to say?
You're
Just keep
supposed to
inside?
keep. Yes, you're not supposed to speak it into existence.
You're not supposed to speak it into existence. Thank you, Kendall, for sharing one of the greatest traps I think we have all found ourselves in today, especially with the massive movement of manifestation and creating a life of your dreams. Welcome back to Through the Lens. Today we are unpacking one of the most popular statements and beliefs we all carry today that I think is actually contributing to the majority of us suffering from anxiety, both in secret or out in the open. So make sure to strap yourself in. Today is season 5, episode 6 of the Kardashians. Oh my gosh, I was watching this episode and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This makes so much sense. Kendall shares all the time that she struggles from anxiety, and here she is saying one of the things that I think is one of the biggest contributors to our anxiety, that if you speak it out loud, it will come true, that you're not supposed to speak these thoughts we have within our mind that are scary or not successful or all these negative things that we don't actually want. But the problem is, words are just words. They're just symbols twice removed. They were created by man in order to communicate. But the truth is, you have always been thinking these things. And what happens is when we're thinking something, especially catastrophic, something that has all of this weight, and we are like, oh no, I can't speak it out loud because it'll come true, we stuff it into the darkness. And then it becomes what I always refer to as the monster under the bed. We don't look at it. We keep it shoved there because the last thing we should do is allow it to come to the light, because we've been taught if it comes to the light, oh my gosh, it's going to become true and I am going to be the cause of, in this, I think it's a plane accident is what essentially Kylie is referring to. And ultimately, I'm not going to unpack how Kylie is able to manipulate the family and stuff. We're just using this moment and a statement from Kendall to really highlight how we're all living these days, because we believe that we are manifesting our future. We're manifesting the life of our dreams. And I just need to share here, I'm not saying that if you walk around constantly saying, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, that is not going to end up manifesting itself, right? Because what you're doing in that moment is you're constantly telling your subconscious to respond in a certain way. And sickness is an internal response to external circumstances. So by no means am I saying that, but what I'm saying is we have taken a statement that does hold some validity, and we have again swung it into the pendulum of shame and guilt. And we've allowed the ego to take a statement that could be used very powerfully or to be seen as a way of your ability to step into a place of love. It's really just showing you the power you actually have. And it's really showing us all the true power that we have created this illusion. But that's a video for another day. But we've taken it and we've allowed the ego to use it as a way to keep us stuck even longer. When you have these massive thoughts and fears and you just continue to ignore them and shove them into the closet, they literally multiply and they grow. And I promise you, they are operating in your life in other areas. And that you speaking it out loud is not going to be any different than you thinking it, as far as in the negative. Like, it's not going to come more true if you speak it out loud versus thinking it. But I promise you, it will impact you in many different places of your life if you don't allow it to come to the light, which is speaking out loud, journaling about it, facing it, and actually looking at it. Because the only reason why we don't say things out loud or we don't journal them is because we ourselves are not willing to look at it. And what we are not willing to look at, we are not willing to let go of. We are not willing to hand over to spirit to be healed, to be rectified, to be released, the weight. So if Kylie has this fear and she doesn't share it and she shoves it into the closet, she's just allowing it to grow bigger and multiply. And so that when it does finally come out, it's going to be this massive impact in her life. Or the second something goes wrong in her life, she's like, oh, I knew it. I knew it was because I thought of that. That's what happened, is because my thought created that. And we get so wrapped up in this that we're all just walking around believing we are carrying all these private thoughts. But what we're really doing is we're carrying around unnecessary fear, pain, suffering, sacrificing. And the thing that actually comes to my mind right now is a statement I've heard that we all have to bear our own cross, which to me, what that says is we all have to carry the burden of the shame and guilt and pain and suffering, which is such a beautiful representation of what the ego wants you to believe. So the statement of if you speak it out loud, it will come true is just another statement created by the ego to keep you stuck. And if you are suffering from anxiety right now, I would encourage you, I would invite you to take a look at where are times that you had true fear or angst or certain thoughts, and instead of actually allowing them to come to the surface, you denied them and shoved them in. Because in that denial, you identified with them. You placed a bunch of weight on them and stuck them in the closet. But what I'm proposing is you allow it to come to the light without weight, without identification of it, without identifying as you as a persona and it to be true. So, even in this moment, Kylie sharing it and her fear that it's going to come true and making choices could also be seen as placing weight on it. Again, in this moment of the Kardashians, we're just using it as an opportunity to look at a statement that has actually caused us to become so stuck and create so much additional shame and guilt in this process of healing. I mean, it's a statement that's used in manifesting, The Secret. Like, if you Google some of the greatest thought leaders around manifesting, it's how do I co-create with the universe? How do I speak it into existence while working with the universe? Which is usually talked about in like this positive manner. But again, what we've done then is we saw like, oh crap, if I can speak positive stuff into existence, that means I can also speak this negative stuff into existence. So I'm going to pretend that I don't have this fear, because I'm also taught that if I have those fears, I can't speak this into existence. So what I don't see, I don't know, which is so untrue. So I encourage you, take a look. What have you stuffed into the closet? Let it free. Only by freeing that space do you allow the miracle to come in. Right? Check out my video about the monumental miracle that I experienced a week ago. And it was only because I allowed this fear to bubble up to the surface and to be released without identifying in order for the miracle to come in. And right now, what we're preaching to one another and what we are deciding is gospel is that if you have a bad thought, you dare not speak it. How dare you speak that into existence? Oh, how shaming, right? Especially with someone who already is suffering from some anxiety and fear. That's what the thought is about. Oh, no, we didn't discredit that, and we tell you to shove it back in. And no hard feelings to Kendall or Chloe, but this is an opportunity to look at something we've been taught that's actually holding us back, that's actually keeping us in this perpetual state of anxiety. And if Kendall were to ever watch this, I would invite her, I know she struggles with anxiety regularly, to look at how often she's doing that. How often is she dismissing these true anxious thoughts she's having? And I'm not saying identify with them and become, compulsory with your anxious thoughts, but I'm saying allow them to come through, you being the observer. And the only way to allow them to come through is to face them yourself. And sometimes that's through speaking, sometimes that's through journaling, whatever it may be, but only then are you handing it over to the Spirit? Are you only able to look at it yourself? Is only when you're able for Spirit to take and free up the space for the miracle. So the statement of, don't dare speak that into the universe, don't speak that into existence, it will come true. Catch yourself before you wreck yourself, because I promise you, I know firsthand how much shame and guilt that was unnecessary I created from that statement and that belief that if I spoke any of those negative thoughts or fears I had within, that they would actually come true. So instead, I held on to them. I allowed them to fill up what now today is my happiness backpack, what now is filled with miracles. And only because I allowed those fears and thoughts and ideas to come to the surface. Yes, I spoke them out loud, and I didn't blow up. I didn't deteriorate. I didn't destruct. I only did that when I was holding on to them. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you know me at all and you've ever had a personal conversations, this is one of the areas I'm most passionate about, is these things that we have been taught in the process of believing we're creating a better dream, a better illusion that's actually keeping you more stuck here. And it's actually keeping you in a perpetual state of mental illness like anxiety, but it's hiding it even more. Even though we're in a day and age of being open with the mental health stigma and, stomp the stigma and everybody be open about it, we've actually created these other avenues that are making it even more secretive without us even realizing it. And it just breaks my heart. But I also know it's a part of the journey. And that's exactly why I make these videos, so that you can see a different perspective and maybe, shift your own perspective, or at least get curious and bring awareness, so that you don't, at the end of the day, have no clue what's going on and have no clue why you are so anxious. As always, my friend, thank you so much for tuning in. Post below. Have you lived by that statement? Have you caught yourself saying that? Can you think of a time that you did that and it actually just felt massive weight, and now you're ready to release, and you can feel the release and allow the miracle in? Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, because we have all things Kardashians, The Chosen, Jacob Collier. You know me, I'm always coming up with new things that I absolutely love, including a video that just came out all about my running career that began at the age of 40, which is a direct result of me living an inspired life. So go check that out. Is happiness simple? It is. It is, friend. It is. But as always, so much love, and remember, you are worth it. Bye-bye.